Welcome into the Ringiverse. This is the Ringer's Next podcast feed for all things fandom. We are Steve, the architect, Ahlman, the builder and tinkerer of things. We are Jomi, the explainer, Adeniran. You've got questions, he's got answers. Old Man Van, he of the receding, resurgent hairline, Coke, Baby, Chuck, the 24-karat closer. Together we are known as the Midnight Boys. Follow us on socials, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Jomi.
Guys, I'm so excited to talk about Mission Impossible. Forget the socials, man. This movie means something to me, dog.
Let's do it. Speaking of socials, I went hyper viral. Did you see that?
What is hyper viral?
Like 13 million views.
On what?
On what?
On my King Charles breakdown video. I want to do a whole episode on this podcast about King Charles the dog.
Wait, what the fuck is happening with King Charles?
Okay, I've seen this. I've seen these clips go around, but I haven't told it. So apparently there's these dogs, right, on Instagram, and there's one who's like in charge, right? Like when he roll up, they literally start bowing like they
wait. Is this the real like fucking like Pharaoh? Like he just be like,
yeah.
Well, he actually.
Is it the one where he like puts his paw down on the guy? Oh yeah, I saw that.
There's a whole mythology behind King Charles and the dogs.
Yeah.
King Charles wasn't the alpha. He became the alpha. Now other dogs like Tyrant are coming for his throne.
They're challenging him.
They're challenging him. They're challenging King Charles. I've never been more loyal to anything in my life
than King Charles.
Does that TV work? Can somebody throw up King Charles later? I want to see these fucking videos
It's a crazy video. It's really
a crazy
cool.
video. King
Are
Charles
there
is the man.
lore videos about King Charles?
Oh,
on,
yes.
YouTube and shit?
There's lore. There's TikToks. He's got his own Instagram page. King Charles is the man. Okay. We're on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, share. You can watch every Midnight Boys and House of Art episode on youtube.com/@Ringiverse and also on Spotify. I have something to say to the fans of the show. We love you guys so much. You guys bring so much conversation and commentary to what it is that we do. But, just like in the movie, I'm asking you guys to like, comment, and subscribe and share on the YouTube. I'm not just saying it. Go on the YouTube, comment, like, subscribe, share. I be on the Reddit, and I see sometimes on the Reddit that there are a lot of comments on the Reddit. We have such a great and vibrant Reddit community.
Very active.
Very active.
Very active.
Some might say too active. But
no, man, it grows the show.
It grows the show. I really love what you guys do on Reddit and Facebook. Go to YouTube. Share this stuff around. I'm not seeing enough Midnight Boy stuff pop up in my algorithm. All right, and we cooking right now. We top 15 TV and film podcasts in the world right now.
King Charles right now.
We cooking right now, but I'm not seeing enough growth on YouTube. I want more. I want you guys, you know what? I'm coming for the crown. We want the crown. But we can't do it without you guys. This is our kingdom. And then we'll get paid. Programming reminders. Tomorrow, Button Mash is back with their pod on The Last of Us finale.
Guys, people were rocking with the takes, man. People said we weren't hard enough. That the 7 was too lenient.
Yeah, that's.
People said we weren't hard enough.
And
that the 7 was
you
too
did that.
lenient.
You did that, Jomi.
That's on me.
That's Jomi's.
That's on me, guys.
People said we weren't hard enough,
and the 7 was too lenient.
And the 7 was too lenient. They wanted a 9.
It was
maybe they wanted a 6. A 6 is something that you could be very comfortable with. A 6 or a 5
gets the job done. Nothing.
I've heard. No, but there have been. It just all depends on the audience.
Yeah.
Because there are some audiences that will say a 9 is a good score, but then there are other audiences that'll say a 6 is something that you can go back to every day.
Yeah, some people say like a 6, like why would you get a 6 over 9? But sometimes the 6 has more fun and enjoyable stuff.
Exactly.
With it.
Sometimes when you flip a 6 upside down,
it's a 9.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You see what I mean?
And it also depends on the audience. What can the audience deal with?
Exactly.
Not every audience wants to
deal
with that.
What are they ready for?
Yeah, sometimes the 6 is like what you're with. And you never know. I think a lot of these shows think that every show has to be a 9.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't.
It can be a 6.
It can be a 6, and that's okay.
A 6 gets the job
6 is above average.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Also tomorrow, House of R will be giving you their spring mailbag. Later this week, we'll be giving you our Ringiverse recommends for the month of May. I want to tell you guys something else. I think that I'm going to be going on Ben Lindbergh's podcast pretty soon to talk about baseball.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm so back into baseball that I don't understand the new game. So tell you what I mean. I'm so back into baseball that I'm watching baseball and I'm realizing that I haven't watched enough baseball over the years to understand something like why Ohtani would be leading off.
Because he's there. So he wasn't leading off when he got there. Mookie was leading off, and then he got hurt, and so they moved Shohei up one, and then he was the MVP. Like he couldn't miss, so he stayed in that number one role. But I was looking at your tweets, and back in the day, you would have like a guy with like some speed at one always, right? And then your best hitter, which would be Shohei, would be hitting at like 3 or 4, right? So he can get batters in. At this point now, it's a numbers game. So you want your best hitters hitting further up the line so they get more at bats.
I got you. I could also say this though. I watched 2 games where Shohei led the game off with home runs.
And nobody was on base.
Those are solo shots.
Yeah.
And at one game, the Dodgers lost because they didn't score enough runs. If maybe you'd have had guys on, maybe he'd have got a big knock, or perhaps he wouldn't have seen good pitches because they would have walked him. So who knows?
Yeah.
But these are the things I want to talk to Ben Lindbergh about.
Yeah, he knows better
Lindy
than I do.
baseball. Okay. But today's show, finally, we are giving you our instant reactions to Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. You guys, we're doing it, okay? And I don't think that you guys have any idea what you're in for from the show perspective. We're about to have Midnight Boys. I need the lower third. Civil War.
And then it's just like the square up.
Civil War. This is Cap's team, and that's
Tony's
Iron Man's
team.
team.
Whoa, why are we Iron Man? I want to be Cap.
You're Iron Man.
You know what?
Okay. We're smarky and
You're
cynical.
Iron Man. You're Iron Man. Okay? In the
Honestly,
midnight,
I am
you know
Iron
what?
Man. A bunch of motherfuckers ganging up on me for being fucking right.
You're Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We're
Why are you booing me? I'm
You're
right.
Iron Man. Yeah, you're Iron Man. Okay? This is what's going on. So that makes you,
I'm
Falcon.
Falcon, yeah.
You're Falcon. You're
Nice.
Spider-Man. That makes a lot of sense.
Hey, everyone.
You're Spider-Man.
Hey, everyone.
You're Spider-Man. You're Falcon. Why couldn't we make you guys other guys? You know what? You're Winter Soldier. That's good. And then you could be, still want to be Spider-Man.
Who hates Spider-Man?
How did Cap kick Spider-Man's ass? How did
Cap-
that happen? Can we?
We just outsmarted him.
So in that scene,
Spider-Man would dog walk the shit out of Captain America. Guys.
Yeah, but if he didn't
What?
have any
Hell
sense,
Spider-Man would beat the dog shit out of Captain
yeah,
America.
but he's a kid and he doesn't understand that he
brakes
can get
off.
outsmarted. That's
What? Wait, what version of Cap are we talking about? MCU?
We gotta get to it. We gotta
MCU?
get to
No,
the
wait,
show.
no, stay on this. MCU?
he would
MCU
beat the hell out of
Cap,
him.
he beat the shit out of Captain.
So here's the difference though. He never actually like fights him really. Like he hits him with the shield, but really he like uses the shield to knock down the
that
makes
on
Spider-Man
thing. Yeah.
hold it.
All right,
Exactly.
so, but for the feats that Spider-Man fucking has, he, had to fight a plumber with wings?
All right, man.
And then fucking Jake Gyllenhaal with some
He's
magic?
fighting electricians.
And then, like, fucking Captain America was walking down Black Panther. Like, what are we talking about? If we're talking
Here's
about
what I'm
feats.
saying. Feats, you're so crazy. I want to do a whole show on feats. I want to have a feat off.
With an A,
No.
not an E. With an A. Let's
Either way, really. Either way.
You want to call
oiled up
fantasy,
feet
get
off.
Tarantino on the pod?
Get Tarantino on the pod. Get what's his name from the Jets?
Oh, Rob Ryan?
Rob Ryan on the pod.
This is a sex positive podcast. Why is it like feet niggas are the ones where everybody's
Can
like,
I tell you
nah.
something? Because there's a actual mental thing. There's a mental connection between I read it. There's like a thing to where for guys that find feet,
it's like if you're
attractive,
right-handed, then you're more likely
there's
to
a thing in
have
their brain.
cilantro.
Somebody fact check
I
this.
swear.
Somebody fact
For guys that find feet
I'm
attractive,
on
they are
Spotify.
really
This is for work.
super
This is for work. Don't-
attracted to feet. There's a thing in their brain that makes them
Where
attracted
the
to
fuck
feet.
did you read
Like a
this?
data
There's
chip?
no way.
I get different stuff in my algorithm than you guys.
Clearly.
there's a guys like there's a brain part of the foot attractive guys that these guys really go crazy over feet. Their feet crazy. It's a thing. There's a whole thing.
Jomi, you keep researching
I
that.
can't find any
I'll find it.
Make a
and send it around.
dissertation.
Along with the Sailor Moon videos I used to give you guys.
Please don't. Please never do that.
Okay, we gotta start the show. So to begin our reactions, we gotta give you the spoiler warning first of all. So we're gonna be spoiling everything with Mission Impossible. This is ostensibly the last Mission Impossible movie. So
I don't believe that.
This means we could spoil basically everything from any Mission Impossible movie up to date. The television show in the 60s, everything we can spoil. Steve, run the spoiler warning.
We're getting ready to talk about
Mission Impossible.
You're listening to a reaction podcast. The spoilers are coming.
All right, to begin our reactions, Chuck Wagon, Midnight Manifest. Chuck, take it away.
All right, here's your Midnight Manifest for Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, written by Christopher McQuarrie and Eric Gendressen. Sorry if I fucked that up. We flash forward 2 months from the events of Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, Part 1. Ethan is still hunting Gabriel and the entity, but the evil AI and Gabriel are beefing. Ethan has to find the Podkova, aka the Rabbit's Foot, from Mission Impossible 3, which is located in the submarine he saw blow up in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. Ethan forms a team consisting of Benji, Grace, Paris, and Luther. Angela Bassett is now the president and believes that Tom Cruise is the only person who can save the world. Hijinks ensue. Luther dies because Ving Rhames is old as shit, but he designs one more stupid tech device that Tom Cruise needs to plug into another doohickey to destroy the entity and save the world. There's a sick submarine stunt, and Milchek from Severance is there. The movie then has a bunch of callbacks to the other films, revealing that Shea Wiggum is related to Jim Phelps, the villain from the original movie Mission Impossible. Also, William Donmo is back from the first movie. He's the guy who almost walks in on Ethan during the iconic skylight scene. He's not mad at Ethan, though, for getting him fired because he has a cool wife now. Ethan then tracks down Gabriel, and there's a sick biplane stunt, and the movie ends, and that has been your Midnight Manifest for The Final Reckoning. God. Van, what did you think of this movie?
Okay, so distinctly different experiences. I saw this movie twice.
Right.
2 distinctly different experiences, okay, in seeing the movie. The first time I saw the movie, I found it tedious and very difficult to watch, I'll be honest with you.
Wow.
In a real way. The second time I saw the movie, a lot less so. I liked it a lot more. I have a theory about this film as it regards to the people who don't like it, which seems to be a lot of the people who I trust here at The Ringer and other people that I see out there who are having problems with this movie. The reason why I think I liked it more the second time is because the movie is so exposition heavy, and I was so anticipating waiting for the stunts and waiting for the stuff that by the time it came in the actual first time I watched the film, I was already kind of out of it. And it reminds me of the original Mission Impossible movie in that way.
96?
96. This film is the one to me that is most like that film. Because the first time I saw that movie, I didn't really understand it. Like, I didn't get why. Remember, I saw it in theaters. There was a joke made at the Oscars where Billy Crystal goes, I'll give you X amount of money if you can explain to me the plot of Mission Impossible. Because I think that when we first saw it, the knock list,
Who's the Mole, etc.
Who's the Mole, Max, all of that stuff, it wasn't that easy to kind of get through. It was kind of hard to wrap your mind around. And in this movie, I kind of felt the same way. The second time I saw it, I was like, oh, poison pill, Podkova, he's got to go down and get that. Then they got to come up to Gabriel, the entity, all these other things that are working. It didn't go over my head the first time I saw it, but I was like, Jesus Christ, another scene where they're explaining what has to happen to make this movie make sense. The second time, all of that stuff, I was a little bit more familiar with it, and it seemed a lot shorter, and it got to the point a lot better, and the movie made more sense in of exposition, action sequence, exposition, action sequence, and then tying all the relationships of the movie together a little bit more. So the second time I saw it, like at the end, I was actually moved when the president saw her son, when Ethan was left there. When I left the first time, I was pissed off, like, what the fuck did they just do? So I know that's very long-winded, but I had 2 different experiences watching the movie. And look, I was completely prepared to come in here and be like, yo, this shit was really whack. And I meant that. That was
those
real
were your first texts.
feelings. I was like, that's what I said when we first texted. And then me and Kaliko went back to see it again, and I was like, oh, I had a lot more fun with it. I was there for the ride, and it made a lot more sense to me the second time. So and I have that theory about the movie, that anybody that has a problem with it, it might be the type of film that's better on a rewatch.
I mean, I liked it the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
I thought it was... Listen, does the movie have its issues? Yes. Does the movie... The movie does one thing that actively pissed me off that we'll talk about later. But as an ending for the story of Ethan Hunt and the IMF as we know it and all these characters, when Luther's giving his little speech posthumously at the end, there were tears in my eyes. Real grown tears, dog. That meant something to me, man. It was just, I don't know if it's the perfect ending, but for this particular iteration of what Tom Cruise and Christian McQuarrie have been working through the last 4 movies, that's how you wrap it up, man. That's how you send Ethan Hunt off, if this is indeed the end. I thought that, like, we'll talk about more like the minutia later, but once he gets off the aircraft carrier, gets into the Ohio, movie takes off, and I had a ton of fun in the theater. I know it was a little long, it was like 240, and that first hour is a lot of talking, to your point. It's a lot of, you got to get this. They restate the pot cove and all over and over and over again. But at the end of the day, man, when he's in that submarine and he's got to like unhook the diver stuff from the falling submarine.
The air backpack to shove himself into the tube.
Right? When he can't get into the torpedo tube because it's too big. Dog, when he jumps off the plane and gets onto Gabriel's plane and his plane is falling, when he's upside down, that right there, CINEMA, fellas, that is capital cinema. Let me tell you, and guys, maybe this is just me.
Okay.
But when...
Talk your shit, Jomi.
When he's in the submarine, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw this in IMAX.
I saw it in IMAX the second time, which might have also.
Oh my God! You have to see it in IMAX.
I saw it in IMAX
in the sub, and he's turning the lever.
Turn the lever,
and it goes from the standard shot, and he goes boom,
boom,
boom.
Talk your shit,
IMAX.
Jomi.
Come on,
IMAX,
man.
Daddy.
I'm sitting there ready, and then the guy goes and he gets into the water, and then for the next 25, 30 minutes, silence, and you're sitting there. It's you and Ethan in the submarine, and he's...
It's 12 minutes, but...
Like 12 minutes. It felt like 30 to me because I was sitting... Bro, you know how I get in a movie? I get into it. I was at the edge of my
Aleya,
seat.
Aleya, what's the movie-going experiment... what the fuck's wrong with me? Aleya, what's the movie-going experience with Jomi?
Jomi's either falling asleep and snoring, or he...
That's true.
Gestures at the screen and talks to it.
It's like him watching a Lakers game. God forbid he's in the stadium. It's like he's coaching the game.
Imagine a conductor at a symphony. Jomi conducts the movie.
Except instead of being on the stage, I'm in the audience.
Yes. Jomi's Kalika was livid. She was like, "What's wrong with him?" The first time she met Jomi, she's like, "What's his problem?" Jomi conducts the movie while
he's in the scene talking to the people.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yes, Tom, now go over here."
Dog.
Like he's directing.
Bro, when he is on a plane and he knocks old boy out and flips the plane upside down, he falls out, then I'm sitting there like we've never seen this before. I'm in a cathedral watching Pastor Tom Cruise spit a sermon so fire that we have never seen,
all right,
and we will never see again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, if you can hear me,
Jesus.
What I am telling you is that what we have just experienced, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, is some of the best movie making we've ever seen.
All right.
We won't see film like this ever again. We won't sit there and watch a man risk his life to deliver us some incredible action. We will never see this again. So as I'm leaving the theater, and I know like this is the end of this chapter, like we literally won't see somebody literally risk their life to deliver us movies like this
until he needs to win a stunt performing Oscar.
Maybe, but it probably won't be Mission Impossible, right? Which is like the whole thing. Like this, Ethan Hunt as a singular character, a single force, is something that over the last 30 years has changed, right? It was, it's a spy movie. Now it's kind of an action thing. And over these last 4 movies, they've ratcheted up the stakes, at least for, Tom Cruise, risking his life to give us this stuff. And I think what they did with the submarine scene, which I wasn't expecting going to the movie, so like that was completely new. But the plane, like that entire sequence, incredible.
Fellas?
I just want to say this to the American people. I think we are at our point where we are glazing Tom Cruise to such an extent that it's getting disgusting. And I need everybody to stop. I love Tom Cruise. I love Mission Impossible movies. I like that he's Mr. Hollywood. He's saving the cinema.
The president of Hollywood.
I love the president
the
of Hollywood. I do. But the glazing of Tom Cruise needs to fucking stop. Literally what we just witnessed, that was a lot, Jomi.
He was kind of doing tricks on it. He was doing tricks on it.
Somebody else is doing that. Name one other person who's doing what Tom Cruise is doing. I'll be here all day. I'll be here all day.
That's a lot.
Name one person doing the same thing.
Bro, that was as sincere as you'll ever see Charles. Charles looked over. Charles was like, that was a lot, bro. Okay.
You can't, name one person doing the same thing. There's nobody. There is nobody.
Okay, I'll say my piece for the beginning of it. Like, I genuinely do respect.
Do you have it?
What?
He's got to get his hat. You can't pop without his hat, yes.
Okay, all right. Pause for hat. Why now? Well, okay, wait a minute. This is important. Why now do we need to activate the hat?
Because I meant to wear the hat today because I don't want to betray the hat. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, that's important. But I genuinely do respect the idea that the kind of principles of filmmaking that Tom Cruise and Macquarie like really do preach, I kind of do find important. Like the idea that making movies with these amounts of effort and forethought and dedication is something that, like, as an industry, it seems to be lacking. They don't make movies like this that often. They are bloated and very expensive and are the make or break levers that will keep the lights on at Paramount for another year. But when I sit down to watch something like this now, the most cynical parts of me feel like, okay, well, now I'm going to watch like the 10th installment of a extension of a person's ego to seemingly want to keep the lights on, not only just for their career, but like Hollywood abroad. So when I say that, it can be wildly entertaining, but also like debilitatingly boring and insufferable.
That first first 2 hours of the movie, I'm going to be so honest. Like I was probably like you on the first watch. I was actively pissed. I'm like, if they introduce another fucking goddamn fucking callback,
this movie's a flashback merchant. It's nothing. It's just like. But like over explaining, and I get it. Like it's supposed to be this big culmination of every single thing that's ever happened, and they're talking about Ethan Hunt like he's Jesus, and he's the manifestation of destiny, and all the things that he's ever done have culminated into this one thing. And I've wanted to kind of like make a comp of like what kind of film series has like concluded or like carried on this way, and I would have wanted it to be like
Fast and the Furious.
It's the Fast and the Furious. At the end, it's become the Fast and the Furious, but like with a self-serious, elevated prestige that it doesn't deserve.
Well, so this is what I'll say. It did. Okay, so the stakes are different here than they are in the Fast and the Furious. Right?
Sure, of course.
So, and the talent, no disrespect to Fast and the Furious, but the talent is different. Yes. When I say talent, I mean there's an elevated Hollywood reputation that goes along with the Mission Impossible movies. You know, got Angela Bassett, Tom Cruise, people like that. Also, the scope of the film deals in a seriousness that an espionage film has to deal in, or else it's hokey. right? So it's like if you have a movie that is dealing in espionage and spy shit, a la a James Bond type of film, that film has to comport itself with a degree of seriousness, or else you won't fall into it.
And that's so crazy for me because I like the hokiness of almost all of the Mission Impossibles is what I've liked about it. When I've loved Ghost Protocol, when I've loved Fallout, when I've loved Rogue Nation, there's always a level of ridiculousness to all of these movies that I have greatly enjoyed. And there's a reason that they're propulsive and there's still a kinetic energy of, while explaining things in a ridiculous way, while having ridiculous like gadget glasses and insane stunts and all those things, there still feels like a level of trajectory that every movie is on, where both with less so with Dead Reckoning, but a lot so with this, it just stops every like 30 minutes to be like, what we're doing is so important, and what we're going to be doing is the last time we're ever going to be doing it. Here's an awesome sequence. And now back to explaining how important and everything is. Occasionally, we're going to have one person get the spotlight. Palm Clementif is going to be amazing. Aleya Atwell is going to do something cool. And then over-explain stakes. Big fuck off, amazing plane sequence that is genuinely thrilling and like amazing. Like it justifies its entire existence. I'm not going to say that I wasn't like thoroughly entertained by it, but it's so much of a drag. When Dead Reckoning came out, I really hoped that it was a fluke. I really hoped that it was like, okay, COVID really held that back and they wanted to split this up into something a bit more cohesive. But instead, it's just a long, protracted, okay, we've only got like 2 or 3 things to really fire off in this movie, spectacle-wise. We're kind of just spinning our wheels for about a good 2 hours.
So, okay. So let me tell you the way I break the film down. Particularly when I'm talking about like this. Jomi, you want to say something?
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
Particularly when I talk about when I'm looking at it from the scope of the second time I saw it. The first time I saw it, once again, I'm going to be honest with you, I felt exactly the way you guys felt. Okay. So the movie is got to do 3 things. Number 1, it has to get Ethan out clean. Get Ethan out clean to where we are completely unambiguous about who Ethan is. Because going into this film, you could be like, yeah, Ethan Hunt is cool, but he left this trail of carnage in his wake, right? All of these people had to die, get fucked over for Ethan Hunt to do what he does. That's the Don Lowe character coming back. The Don Lowe character comes back because you think that guy is really in a lot of trouble because Ethan Hunt had to use him as a patsy to steal the knock list from Langley.
Right.
But they do it in a very heavy-handed way that what Ethan did ended up being better for Don Lowe.
Right.
And they actually use Don Lowe's genius to help them solve the problems that they have in this movie. The second thing they have to do in the film is make you believe that legitimately, if one thing goes wrong, it's the end of the world. Now, a lot of movies do that, right? Like if we talked about Star Wars A New Hope, you'd have to say, all right, if this doesn't happen, 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 if Skywalker's parents don't get killed, it all gets fucked over because he's the only person that can make the shot, right?
Yeah.
So all of these things have to happen. But with those things, you can look back and say that they're just coincidence. This movie has to do it in a way to make you believe that they have to plan these things out and execute them all. Like nothing has to happen that's almost just lucky.
Yeah, nothing happens by accident.
They have to have a plan that is the most ridiculous plan, but actually the only way that it works. And I'm saying that because the movie is ridiculous in the sense that Ethan Hunt is the only person that is ridiculous enough to think of the things that have to happen in this movie for them to win.
I mean, there's been like a lot of the movie with Ethan going, I have to do this crazy, insane thing. Someone's like, no, that's crazy and insane. Why'd you do that? And it's like, that's literally the only way it can happen.
Yeah. And I guess to me, like with this, the problem that I had with this is that like, there was no either levity or like shrugging off of this movie's ridiculousness by its star. at any point.
The world's going to end.
What?
What's funny about that?
What's funny about that is because it almost seemed to be happening every other time. Because it's like, oh my God, I got to jump out of a plane. And then there's going to be a point where Tom Cruise is like, all right, I got to jump out of a plane now. And then like he does it. Like regardless of whether or not it's believable, there's always some guy behind it being like, man, isn't this kind of nuts? And then he does it.
There's a level. I have a challenge here.
Sure.
This is the Marvelization of your taste.
But you can't say that because it's happened in every other Mission Impossible movie.
Wrong! I don't think that it happened.
You don't think so?
I think that Mission Impossible 1 is an incredibly serious movie.
Yeah.
Like really serious to where he is bummed out for a lot of the time. I think now that what's happened is that for us, we need the film that's showing the ridiculous stuff to wink at us. And Mission Impossible refuses to wink. Like the Marvelization of these movies means that, okay, we're going to do time travel and then Ant-Man has to go. He has to make like Back to the Future jokes. He has to go, oh my God, blah, 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 in order for us to be like, okay, we're watching something ridiculous. We get it. You get it. Everybody's cool. And there are going to be movies that are going to put large scale things on the screen and that are going to refuse to wink. They're going to be like, in this world, this is the way shit goes. It's the most important thing in the world. These people are serious and earnest, and you gotta fucking deal with it.
Nah, when Simon Pegg pulls off Wolf Blitzer's face from his face and is like, nah, man, you fell for it. Like, that's us winking. When Henry Cavill is like, who falls for this shit? And then it's Alec Baldwin just pops this shit up.
Even in this movie, they have the little bit of like, and this was obviously a reshoot, when him and Haley Atwell get captured and they do the Looney Tunes. You don't see the fight.
Yeah, you don't see the fight, and then it's just
face being like,
oh, that kind of stuff. That level.
And he's like, hey, we do have to go. And then it rolls into the trailer.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff.
I'm not saying that the movie won't be funny. Like, I'm not saying that the movie won't be funny. I'm saying that the movie is not going to. So in the film, they remark on the absurdity of the plans, but they never give the audience an out to where we get to go, you know what? This is fucking crazy. They go, no, the fate of the world is at stake. We got to do this. And if this
I think they do that in the like just the scenes. When you're watching him do the plane stuff, when you're watching him in the Sevastopol, you're kind of like, holy, like, nah, he's doing this for real. Like, this isn't like, there's no way.
And Ethan's never having any fun.
Not even a little bit.
He's never having any fun.
After that joke at the beginning, the
movie stops having fun with itself.
It's so serious. I mean, yeah, because the end of the world's in 3 days. I don't know what kind of jokes.
I mean, but I guess my big issue with this is like I feel like I felt this movie is not as bad as like The Rise of Skywalker or whatever, but that movie's insistence on everything having to connect and everything having to be a part. Like while I was watching this movie, I'm like, why does this fucking character have to be a callback to Mission Impossible 1? Why does the rabbit's foot actually not have to be the rabbit's foot?
To hold on to the knife the day you got fired, just to give it to like, come on, man.
There was a moment where I was like, really, bro?
Pocket, you know what I'm saying? He had it. That's whatever. This is the one thing I'll say about the movie that actively pissed me off.
Well, I don't think he would have that knife, but if he did,
no, he wouldn't.
I think the CIA would probably have the knife. But if that knife was left there, I personally would keep it.
What? Okay.
I mean, and again, like where you're like, oh, Henry Chesney in the first one, when they find out that Tom Cruise stole the necklace, it's like, send this guy to the coldest spot and most remote place in Alaska.
Yeah.
Right. And you flash back 30 years later, and guess where you find him? Alaska. It's like, it's some nice little like tying the bow, I think, on that particular character. And him and his wife, shout out to Pisa, man. She was a real one. She was funny.
Yeah, she was cool.
She was one.
Yeah, but how many bows are you going to tie before you're just like, where's the present?
So, right? I'll give them Donlo. That was cool. Jim Phelps Jr., inexcusable.
That was stupid.
That was very stupid.
There was no need for that. Shout out my guy, Shane Wiggum. I love that dude. He makes everything better.
He had to be your son? What?
He had to be your son. Hey, and then that's it.
By the way,
he's in like 3 scenes.
But the gigantic belly laugh for me, my favorite part of the whole movie is when the end, after he's like done the whole plane thing and he walks up to Shea Wiggum, and then he pulls a gun on him,
Like-
and then he puts it away, and then he shakes his hand, and then he daps him up.
The dap was crazy.
That
Okay,
was
so
nuts.
let's get into some criticisms.
Two white men dab, that was crazy. But hey, shout out to
Let's
them,
get
you know?
Let's get into some criticisms of mine that have endured. about
Sure.
the movie. Okay. So even the Jim Phelps thing is very indulgent because I have reasons in my head as to why they did that. The original actor who played Jim Phelps was super fucking pissed. Look up his name, somebody. He's a TV legend. Was super fucking pissed
That they did that to him?
at the way Jim Phelps
Peter
was
Graves.
portrayed. Peter Graves. At the way Jim Phelps was portrayed in Mission Impossible from 96. He was pissed off.
Yeah.
He was like, you can look it up. He goes, this was a big deal then. Well, not a big deal. It was a big deal to film nerds like myself. Nobody else gave a fuck. I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop saying that something was a big deal that was a big deal to me. Nobody gave a shit.
Well, obviously,
Okay?
you say it's a big deal. That's like saying, in my opinion. Obviously, it's my opinion. I'm saying it.
Yeah. Tupac died in 96. That was a big deal. All right. The fact that the original actor in this movie didn't like his character, not a big deal at all. But to people who watch movies and were overindulgent and stuff like that and never knew that they would make a living years later talking about shit that happened in 96, it was a big deal to us. He came out and said, you know what? I would rather that they'd have said that Jim Phelps, I'm retiring away to some place in Hawaii, and handed the franchise off like that. He did not appreciate them taking his character that was in the show for that long, was the hero, and making him into the villain of the movie. He didn't appreciate that. I think this is a way to reconcile that. To have Jim Phelps, who is essentially the little Haitian T'Challa in this movie.
Oh my God.
That's who he is.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. To have Jim Phelps exist on as someone who is good and someone who is with Ethan.
Shea Wiggum's an asshole in this movie. Though.
Yeah,
know.
he's a
Yeah.
dickhead in this whole
But
movie.
at the end, they worked through it. So I think
I
they
get
worked
by
through
like
it.
this and then that.
Basically, they're just like, you're still
Just
like, your son's an asshole, just like you were in the first movie, but
I think they're trying to rehabilitate
Like, come on,
the
man.
Jim Phelps character.
A character
I
that we
really
didn't
do.
care about either.
I really do.
Like,
I think they care. I really think they're trying to do that. Okay. Number two,
That's bad. Yeah, that's bad.
the performances in this movie
Oof.
are really odd and weird. We are talking about some of the best actors in the world
Sure.
who aren't particularly good in the movie.
all right, I will say this. I love Nick Offerman. I love
No,
me
he's
some Nick
great.
Offerman.
He's great.
When he dies, it's almost as bad as when Talia
No,
dies.
I actually love that. I love that. I laughed so hard.
I laughed when he died.
Oh, Madam
I
President.
laughed. Like, embarrassed Kalika yesterday. Embarrassed her.
He
Like,
was
I
laughing
laughed.
so hard.
I laughed
Jesus.
in the theater, and she hit me. She's like, "Fucking," I walk out. Like, I laughed. So, like, a lot of the performances, they're odd and weird, and it doesn't seem like it's particularly well acted.
I don't know, man. Like the dude. We'll talk about like the MVPs of the movie later, but the guy who was just like, you gave him an aircraft carrier. He was hitting Charles Parnell. I'm pretty sure I'm saying the name right. He was Warlock in Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
In those scenes, like he was hitting like. I don't know. Maybe I thought like the Nick Offerman death scene was kind of nuts, and
That was so funny.
That was crazy because that came out of nowhere. Like, why is that guy trying to shoot the president?
I'm gonna need your sidearm, son. It's getting a little hot in this room.
I didn't understand like what the thing was. That might have been something that's stitched together. But I thought for the most part, like again, I think that scene at the beginning when he's in handcuffs is probably the weakest part of the movie because they're just explaining stuff that we already saw. They're like looking back at the history of Tom Cruise, or we call him Tom Cruise, looking back at the history of Ethan Hunt. Like we just didn't see that like 20 minutes ago. I thought like they didn't really need that exactly. But I thought at the end of the movie, when that same guy's like, he did it. That son of a bitch actually did.
See,
it.
that's so.
I was so scared, man.
That was, it's funny. A crazy son of a.
No,
bitch
he needed to do it
did
like I needed that bigger. I need like that son of a bitch. Like I needed something bigger than that.
Also,
Charles, get your shit off.
if we're talking about negative, we're still talking about negatives. I love Hannah Waddingham.
What the fuck was that accent?
And it's
What the fuck was that?
It's because it's not bad. but I know what she sound like for real.
There's nothing about her that says American at all.
It's just, and she's a great actress.
Yeah, she's
right?
incredible. But
I was just like, this don't sound like you. I know what you sound like. So, but Austin Butler talked like Elvis for 2 years. I was like, nah, bro. I know what you sound like. Why are you talking like this? Talk regular. You from Orange County. Talk like you from the OC.
Talk like a person.
You had a take?
Niggas is lying, bro. I like this movie. I like the plane. Here's the thing. The biplane shit was amazing.
I'm not lying. I was honest. I said I didn't like it.
We also got to stop this in podcast. Land. We were like, yeah, I didn't fuck with the movie, but then I saw it a second time, and it's not that bad. Like, I'm just like,
it can grow on you.
Yeah,
no.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Hold on for a second. Stop. This is really rich coming from you motherfucker. You have cultivated a bit over the last 5 years where you hate every fucking movie, okay? And it doesn't matter if it's The Godfather. He's like, hey man, Tessio, fuck Tessio. It doesn't matter what the fucking movie is. You've done this, and we've allowed you to do this. And we've allowed you to do this.
4 months straight.
And we've allowed you to do this. I took upon your persona in The Last of Us podcast, and
was it exhausting?
I could tell it hurt you. You were like, how can I up the fucking toxicity? I gotta say, fuck somebody. I gotta join Turning Point USA.
Jesus.
And now, and we've believed you and let you, and now you're choking out my true experience. I saw the movie. I didn't like it at first. I saw it again. And the shit worked the second time. I'm just being for real. I think I'm being serious. The shit worked the second time because the first time I saw it, and I'm just being real with the audience in all seriousness, I was just taken aback by so many things. I was like, yo, why are they acting like this? Like, why is Ving Rhames acting like this? Why is all of this stuff happened? I think when I went into it the second time, I was more able to slip into the world that they were creating.
Wait, if I'm being actually like 100% serious, I think the thing that like kind of I was like, this is kind of, I don't want this in my movie is, I don't know if this movie was designed to be the final one. They're probably going to make another Mission Impossible, but this seemed like a movie in reshoots after Dead Reckoning didn't do that well, where they're just like, Tom's getting up there. We have like the submarine and we have the biplane. We believe in these sequences, but
you're right.
We got to do something emotionally to make this seem more important. And I was like, you don't got to do all this.
So the movie, in my most honest assessment of it, is we have 2 scenes in the film that are so unbelievably ambitious.
Yeah.
And so unbelievably well done that if we nail those 2 sequences, you can't not like the movie. Mm. So how can we orient a story around those 2 things that make those 2 things actually necessary and have those things retain the amount of suspense needed to justify the grandiosity of the sequences. So you have to have the Podkova. All of these things have to be going wrong. The fucking submarines falling off. Ethan could have died. I meant to count, but I think Ethan could have died 30 different times.
Yeah.
On the way there, on the way up, so much stuff has to go right? Mm-hmm. And to your point, you get that. It comes away with that. The first time you see it, I think that to me, it was just like, it didn't. The second time, I'm like, okay, I can see how that. Yeah.
But here's the thing I actually like, the goofy part of the movie that I actually did like was like, I think it's so dope that everybody's like, man, Tom Cruise is Ethan Hunt's the only motherfucker who could do this.
Come on, man.
He's he's Jesus. And I was just like, by the time you see the submarine shit, and the time you see the biplane shit.
He's like, you might be Jesus.
I'm like, yeah, Ethan Hunt's the only nigga who could do this.
Yeah.
I almost did not need all the exposition. I didn't care. I just did not care.
Yeah.
I was like, there's nothing you can tell me that is going to make the submarine like cool. Like, I'm like, it's already so cool. You don't even, I'm like, you could have started the movie right here and I would have been locked in. I'm just like,
When Gabriel was like, I brought 2 planes, one for a spare. I'm like,
I was like,
God,
all
it's happening.
right.
Thank God it's happening.
Gabriel has that moment in the movie. Ethan is crawling up the side of the plane and Gabriel's like,
What the fuck?
What is this nigga
like
on?
Triple take is like
He's like, what? And Ethan's crawling, and Gabriel's like, oh my God. And then Gabriel gets out over his skis and he gets hunted.
that was crazy. Hunted?
But also that is
He went out sad. I'm not gonna.
That
lie.
was so funny.
2 planes is so funny though, because he's just like, Ethan, I bought 2 just in case you escape. And I was just like, this is why I like this shit. To your point, I left being annoyed by the movie, but because the spectacle of those final 2 scenes is so over the top, it does do the summer blockbuster thing where I was just like, still a win. Still a good time at the movies.
Exactly.
I kind of liken it to, you go to Disneyland, you forget the time that you spend waiting in line.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
When you're waiting in line, you're like, hey, man, what the fuck, man?
How many phone games do I have on this thing?
It's like, I know all of y'all not trying to ride Indiana Jones. I'm the only one that likes this ride. What the hell? The ride is going. And then when you get inside of the ride's like 1 minute 30 long. It's like 2 minutes long. But you don't remember the time that you waited in line because the ride is so amazing. But you spend a lot of time in these different places waiting in line. And that's kind of what Mission Impossible is. There was a lot of waiting in line for the amusement park rides.
Because when we went for the Star Wars thing, what I forgot is I'm like, to your point, in the middle of the day when it's hot and you got to wait a little bit, you pissed. But I'm like, Disneyland does the thing where they put off the fireworks at night.
Yeah.
It's a small world. People are eating cotton candy. And it's like, if I have to give Macquarie and Tom Cruise, I do have to say, they are the type of movie professionals where they're like, I can guarantee if you ask Tom Cruise, was the first 3/4 of the movie bullshit? He's like, yeah, but we left you happy. We left you satisfied.
We put our heart and souls into these 3 sequences. We did all this work.
To me, I put them on the level of a James Cameron, where I'm like, even if you don't like the Avatar films, just because of what you're seeing on screen, you're like, man, they don't do this shit anymore.
Yeah, you're like, the technology involved, just the world itself. You're so immersed into it. Can we talk about Ethan Hunt as a fighter real quick?
Like hands?
Mopping people up in the movie.
That knife fight in the submarine was awesome.
That's fucking amazing.
That's a great fight scene.
That's a great fight scene where
Close
Tom's
quarters.
athleticism. Now, that's Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah.
There's no stunt double for that.
Right.
There might be, but I don't think so.
That is a really intense John Wick style hand-to-hand fight scene. I was wondering when I first saw the film, in the first fight scene, I was like, oh, does Tom not want to do that type of stuff anymore? Which is why maybe they didn't show as much as that of that as they would have in past years. And no,
I thought that was a reshoot. I thought that was probably
it was shot great.
we don't want to get somebody to redo all this fight choreography.
Maybe.
It's gonna be a joke. Because there were a couple parts in the movie where I'm like, I think a lot of the acting where we're just why is the acting kind of very TV-ish? Those to me were the reshoots where some people were in a room locked together. And I think that's one of my criticisms of the movie. I almost think Tom Cruise, not almost, I know, Tom Cruise's charisma sucks too much air out of the room. Where I feel what this doesn't have that the Fast and Furious has, it's there's no other characters in this movie besides Tom Cruise. Haley Atwell was so good, but she has nothing to do.
Charles, in no way is the Fast and Furious in any way fucking with this movie. No way. There's no version. There's nothing. I want to have this conversation.
Fast 5?
There's no The Fast and Furious is, shout out to the Fast and the Furious. Love watching those movies.
You talking about as a franchise?
No, I'm talking about, Charles just said there's something that the Fast and the Furious does better than this.
Yes, there are actors and characters that have to get get moments and get punchlines and have whole story arcs. And there's a whole world.
You're saying
this movie now is just nobody in this movie besides Ethan gets to do shit. Ben, I'm like, why is Benji here?
I would say that not a problem, but a noticeable thing about most of the later Mission Impossible movies is that it's hard for Tom to not suck up all of the spotlight.
Not really.
In those movies.
There's no other character besides Luther and Benji. The rest of these motherfuckers, I'm just y'all the B team. Who are these? Who's the black dude? The black. I'm like, why is he here?
Respect Degas. All right.
Hey, at first I was like, this guy with the cheekbones is not doing nothing.
The guy with the cheekbones.
But then by the end of the movie, I feel like his character ended up in a place where you were like, hey, things might have been a little hairy had he not been here. He's flying the planes. He's helping Don Lowe and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
It seems as if that character was an afterthought at first, but by the end, he was part of the team.
I never thought I'd say this. Niggas, bring Jeremy Renner back. Like, come on, bro.
No, hey, my hot take. My take. I'll do you one up. I think that the whole series should have been surrendered to Rebecca Ferguson after Rogue Nation.
Turn his mic off.
Oh, you don't even like me suggesting a woman?
Turn his mic off.
You don't like me suggesting a woman?
Here's the thing.
You're polishing the glass ceiling up there.
This is the problem, Steve. Because now
I was dick riding earlier, though.
Yeah.
I pointed out that's
we have to.
Shout out to Rebecca Ferguson.
I love Rebecca
Ferguson. Hey,
the movie missed her after she got off Dead Reckoning.
For a dumb fucking reason.
Well, she was like, I'm trying to make Dune in Silo, man. Y'all got me.
So look, we want to say this real quick, though. But we support women-led.
Absolutely.
But
you see how I don't have to say this?
Respect Ethan Hunt.
But there's no, come on, Steve.
Respect Ethan Hunt. Come on, man. Be for real. Come on, man.
Steve, hold on. We're going to give you the opportunity to take that back. Take it back.
Take what back?
That Rebecca Ferguson should be the lead of Mission Impossible. That's,
no. All right. This is all right. We were having a talk in the back. We do got to get into a point as a society where we could just keep it 100% real. Nigga, I go to Mission Impossible to see Tom Cruise.
That's fine.
Come on.
That's fine.
Steve, you can't.
Come on, man.
Steve, nah.
Okay.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Yeah.
That's your opinion.
Right.
Steve's opinion.
If Haley Atwell, to me, is an actress that should have had more to do. Like, I think one of the hearts of the movie there, I was like, yo, when she's like resuscitating him and he's just like fucking freezing, she's like, it's okay. I'm like, this is the movie. Give me more of this shit, bro.
The scene where like he's still underwater and the camera, like he hits the ice cap and it flips.
That was beautiful. That was great.
And she slows down.
Set him up.
Come on, man. I mean, her point in the movie, you're right. What differentiates a good thief from a great thief? Timing. Right?
I love that shit. That was the dumbest shit ever, where there was just like, yeah, she's a master pickpocket. She the only one who can grab it in 1/1,000,000th of a second or whatever. I'm like, this is the dumb shit I like.
I have a question. How did she grab 2 walkie-talkies and 2 guns with only 2 hands? Hey, who cares?
She's an octopus. Right? She's got like another set somewhere.
Who cares? You know what I'm saying? The whole thing was we're having a good time. And so when right, because you don't see him put the poison pill in the pot cover, so you're waiting along with the characters. The light goes green. She goes, Ethan, clip, boom. I'm like, yo, man, we're here.
That scene was crazy, bro.
He doesn't have a parachute.
That was good.
So this is what I would say. This is what I would say. I would say that I felt like Benji had his own stuff. Benji got to be team leader. He had his own side mission at the listening station. Yeah. She got her own stuff. I do feel like there were other characters who were a little bit like less important.
Paris didn't get to do nothing.
Yeah.
I love Palm Clementine. She was awesome.
Giving out hands.
Yeah.
That was her, hey, Paris come here to do, what she say? I kill people. What'd she do? She was killing people.
She also saved Benji's life.
And she saved Benji's life.
That was a funny, just like, you need to save me. I'm like, I kill people. What are you talking about?
But the Luther scenes.
Now, hold on.
I love Ving Rhames. And I get it. He's old, so he can't really be like on missions like that.
Yeah, he can't.
Like he a legend.
I need to go where the entity can't find me.
Off a little bit.
So here's the thing, right?
It pissed me off.
We talked about this like on a pod. Like me might have mentioned it. We were like, man, we see Ving Rhames in the hospital gown. Man, it might be over for our boy. He went on like it did suck to see him go, but he went on like a G, man. Hey,
we're both on the right side of that gate.
We're both on the right side of that gate. You know, listen. This entire thing is the sum of our choices. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there. He's like, yo, you got to go, man. You only got 45 seconds. I love you, brother. Come on, man.
Now, let me tell y'all something. Man. What are y'all going to do when, in future movies, the entity is now actually a Ving Rhames AI that helps Tom Cruise? I swear to God, they're going to do something like that. I swear to God, the entity is now... Ving Rhames did the poison pill thing.
Right.
And the entity is
now
in the little drive. They did not destroy the entity.
Nope.
Still there.
They have the entity.
Why didn't they just smash that
They're
thing?
going to use
the
it. Well, because the entity will be Mission Impossible, the entity. The next movie, it will be helping Ethan Hunt, and it will be voiced by Ving Rhames, who is now the Jarvis to Ethan Hunt.
That actually is kind of dope
Tom
that
Cruise.
he's just in his ear the whole time. My big question, why did you go into the entity coffin?
You have to go into the entity coffin. That's how he found. That's how he figures out how everything works. That's why he's like, oh, he showed me the decompression chamber, the plane, the whole thing, the Sosa station. That's how he put it all together. Gets it, he writes it down, he gives it to Benji. He's like, I gotta go save Luther. That's how he put the whole plan together in the first place.
I was like,
the whole movie is Ethan convincing people to believe in him
one last time.
Yeah, and that's. I want to be mad at that part, but every single time that nigga said that shit, I'm like, I do believe you. I
do believe you, Tom
As a
Cruise.
matter of fact, if I was Ethan Hunt, I wouldn't have even gone about it that way. I mean, I'm not going to talk to Erica like that, the president.
Don't.
But I wouldn't have talked to her. But everybody else, I'd have been like, shut up. Give me what I need. Because I've done this a bunch of times.
I've done this at least 7 times.
Like, give them a Mission Impossible box set.
If I was Ethan Hunt, I would kill Kittredge. Kittredge gotta die.
Yeah.
Kittredge is
Why
one of the
didn't he kill
biggest.
Kittredge before? Like,
Kittredge is one of the biggest threats to the security of the world that ever existed. Kittredge is always trying to stop Ethan.
Yep.
He never has any ideas of his own.
Yeah.
Right.
He is not. Kittredge is the biggest fucking hater that's ever existed in any spy movie franchise ever.
That's ultimately what it is. He's the ultimate hater because, again, he gets out of the little base, whatever. The president lets him go. And then Kittredge is like, yeah, I kind of figured you do that. Cool. I'm going to go to South Africa. I'm not going to tell nobody just to mess with Ethan at this point. It's not really about saving the world. It's about getting one up on the dude at that point. He just an all-time hater.
But I will say, I'm not the first one to shout out this scene, but dog, it was so funny when Tom Cruise was taking a shower in a submarine and them like they were licking their chops. It was all horny.
What was that? That lady was just like, take care of my suit. Excuse me?
Shout out Katie O'Brien. Listen, that whole first of all, that's the horniest submarine I ever seen.
That's real.
Because Brad Bro, Tramel Tillman, dog, MVP of the movie. He came in.
He's a star.
If this was
he's great.
If this was rewatchables, that's the Dion Waiters Award.
Mister.
Man. He called it Mr.
He didn't know his name.
Yeah, but he couldn't know his name. It's classified.
Classified, yeah.
When he was Mr. If you want to poke the bear.
You found the right
damn
play. That's
right
my
man.
shit.
He was cooking, man.
By the way,
he was cooking.
Bro, Severance is up. People in the theater was going crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
Milkshake shows up. It's great. By the way, another cameo from Severance. What's her name? The pilot.
Yeah.
The one that he jumps off of. The board is ended this call.
Oh,
I also gotta say, Van, Jomi, y'all are turning me around. Now I'm thinking about all the parts of the movie that I did enjoy. Now that I'm actually talking about the good parts, I'm like,
you know what's happening?
I apologize.
You're rewatching it. You're rewatching it.
You're rewatching it in your mind in real time.
You're rewatching it.
You guys are. I'm starting to come closer to your side.
I'm telling you, on the first watch of the movie, I'm being for real. On the first watch of the movie, I was like, yo, this shit is ridiculous. Like, this shit is ridiculous. It was a 2 hour and 45 minute Tom Cruise, like, suck fest. It was blazing. Yeah. And then the second time I sat down and I'm like, because I had already poisoned Kalika's mind to it. I was like, yeah, man, this shit whack. And she was sat down, she was like, did you see the plane thing? That's not whack at all. It's like, I've never seen anything like that in the movie.
But to your point, like the movie does, once they get to the submarine and all the stuff start happening, that's when, to me, I'm actually like,
now the movie starts.
I was like, you guys could have just started the movie here. Like, you guys
really could have. You really could have.
It's a good idea, to be honest with you.
And as somebody who enjoyed the movie the first time, I completely agree. Right? You have the little suck fest at the beginning where you go through all of
not little.
Stuff.
That's like an hour 45.
No. I'm talking about like at the beginning when he's getting the download from the president.
Oh yeah.
Right. If you want to do your flashbacks, you do it right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you like go through the movie. Like once he gets off the boat, once he jumps into the water, the movie just
he's saying like it's because we might have already talked about it, but we have to like just stress like it's not just the biplane when all the shit in the submarine is crashing and shit.
Yeah.
And when he gets hooked onto
he has to take off I'm like, he's not taking off his suit. He got to
That
put
shit
this
is freezing,
in the
bro.
fucking missile. He's launched out of this shit. I'm like, he's dying.
Bro.
And also when he was just like, what does Tom Cruise say? He was just like, yeah, your little chamber was never part of our plan.
Yeah,
I was like,
Let's go.
Yeah, it's like, so, then what was your
Your
plan?
plan.
Come on.
Bro, I gotta
Come
tell you
on.
something. I gotta believe, bro. Ethan force sensitive, bro.
Ethan's force
He
sensitive.
gotta be. Ethan's in the Bering Sea. The water's cold, bro. I thought, you know what I thought about when that scene was happening? I thought about Jack from Titanic.
Yeah.
Jack was in the water
Punching the air
probably
right
a
now.
lot longer, but Jack was in the water. Jack froze to death. Jack died.
What was the depth?
Ethan was down in the bottom of freezing water.
How
No
deep-
suit.
How high up did he go?
He was in
It was
biker
like
shorts.
Wait, how many miles did they say? Like
I thought it was like at least 1,000 feet.
I think it was
Yeah.
like 300 or 500 feet or something.
Yeah.
Okay, well then that's not that crazy.
Also,
but
the
they
wife-
just kept saying like 6 times, like you're gonna get the bends and you're gonna die.
Yeah.
the wife was also being a little freaky because like
Watch it.
First of all, when does the decompression chamber have room for 2, let alone a bed?
Listen, you can, you know what I'm saying? You get a twin bed, you can fit 2 people on there.
Why isn't Ethan like? Why doesn't he like be like Haley? Like you actually my queen. Like why doesn't he?
He's never like the closest we ever got to like a commitment from him was with Ilsa, and even then it's
No, he
really
got
just-
married. Oh, you mean
sorry,
on
you're
mission?
right,
You
you're
mean
right.
on mission?
On mission.
Yeah, on mission.
I mean, he married Michelle Monaghan, but like that was
Nobody
only
else
one
after
movie.
that.
You know what I
Do you
mean?
think Haley's just like I see what happens to all the women in your life? I'm like I'm good.
either almost die or die.
Honestly,
maybe.
Ethan has a cursed dick. If we're being honest.
Yes, it's probably.
I don't need any
I mean, we don't know
international
what happened
troubles.
to Tandy Newton. You know, like
Wait,
out
why
there.
did she come back?
Oh yeah, you know what? Of all the stuff that they did, I guess they brought back some stuff from 2, but not as much stuff from 2 as they did with the other movies. 2 was kind of the forgotten movie.
2's absolutely the forgotten one.
in terms of reconciling all the stuff from the franchise
Who would-
past.
Who would you trust to like on a mission? Ethan Hunt or Stitch?
Oh, from Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
Oh man, Stitch got. I mean, he did his thing, man.
Stitch fucked over Ethan Hunt.
I'm going with Ethan because that's my goat. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had a Mount Rushmore of movie characters, he's up there for me. So I got to go with one of my goats. I got to go with Ethan.
But Stitch saved the world and nobody had to die.
and nobody had to. Well, some people. Well, here's the thing. Well, so the thing with Ethan, in particular, is that some people may. It's like that Farquaad. Some of you may die,
But
and
it's
that's a
sacrifice I'm willing
sacrifice
to
I'm
make.
willing to make. No, it's more the fact that like Ethan can't let his friends die, right? And that's something that we saw in Rogue Nation, that we see in Fallout, and that I mean, and Kit Reach talks about this all the time, and so does the villain. Ethan would risk billions of lives for one of his homies, right? If they got nukes pointed, the death beam pointed at Earth,
And don't worry,
Right,
you can tell
we're gonna
whose
blow
missiles
this
are
whole
which because
thing
their
up.
flags are on every single one.
and he's like, yo, but you got to go save Benji. It's like, well, guys, I got to go save Benji, man. I know the rest of the world is at stake, but I got a job to do.
You know-
We can do both. We're gonna do both.
You know,
It's the whole thing, and it's just it's an interesting character quirk that they develop like on the second half of the film franchise. I think like honestly makes Ethan's character a little bit more full, a little more better. He's not just some guy who's like, I got to go save the world because of this and that. I have to go save the world because I got to go save my friends.
well,
I think that's real.
I had a question about that too, Steve. What's the point of putting flags and logos on nuclear weapons?
I mean, just so you know whose missiles they are.
No, I get.
So when you're looking
The
up at the
point
sky, you're
of-
like, oh,
hold on.
right.
I get the point of doing it on like a fighter jet because
You got to know who's
you gotta know who you're fighting and
unless
who
it's Top
your,
Gun Maverick.
your team is, right?
Yeah.
But on a nuclear weapon, it don't matter. I was looking at all the different flags on the nuclear weapons. I get that they probably do it just because, hey, you know, whatever. But like, it don't matter. Once them motherfuckers start flying,
I mean, that's the thing. We saw the map. Like, we know we saw everybody who had them.
fucking
But
call
also,
them.
what I didn't understand, they tried to explain it too. I'm like, all right, so the entity trying to like blow up the whole world and kill everybody, but he just like the entity just gonna be like chilling underground, not doing nothing.
It's the movie is making a not so subtle commentary on AI.
Yes, no, I
Yeah,
get
no,
that.
yeah.
So the entity AI always gets to the point to where they go, you know what? humans, inefficient, fuck them.
Yes.
Wipe them all off, start over. So the entity got all of our information studied. So it's going for the next 1,000 years, watch reruns of Married with Children. And
watch Murderbot.
I guess the other, watch Murderbot, right? I guess the entity's people are going to be the ones, but how they going to survive?
But also, we are at the point now where it's like, every single time I'm on social media scrolling, it'll be like a news story be like, this rogue AI refused to be shut down. It tried to blackmail its creator.
So we just pulled the plug, and they were speaking in a language we didn't understand.
Yeah, blackmail the people. They try to blackmail the people.
Ethan Hunt just trying to tell y'all.
What was it?
Ethan Hunt's trying to tell y'all, man. Y'all laughing. Y'all like, hey, this movie stinks. He's telling us the future.
He got the entity now. What is Ethan going to do with the entity? Do you guys think that my Luther example, my Luther theory has any legs?
So scared that you are 100% right.
That is funny. I do like that he's walking around with a little tiny Pulp Fiction briefcase.
I mean,
just like a little gold thing.
I don't think so because, again, the scene in the decompressor chamber where Haley Atwell is like, Grace is telling him, if anybody can have the entity, control the entity, it's him. He's like, no, not me, not anyone. I think she gave it to him because, again, she trusts him to do what he deems is best. Imagine what he deems best is going home, taking a sledgehammer, and turning it to 1,000 pieces.
Yeah, why isn't that the immediate thing? Because now it sounds like, hey, Tom Cruise, you're the only one that we can trust with AI in Hollywood.
Okay, let's get to the midnight meter.
Okay.
Christ alive.
Mission Impossible, Moist Protocol.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, I'll go first. I'm going to give it 2 different scores.
Oh, no.
Oh, no,
Stop.
not this shit, bro.
No,
not this
right
shit.
now.
No,
I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Lock in, man. I'm gonna give it a 7. I think
a 7?
A 7. Because
that feels low for what you just did.
Not because I thought about this, right? And if we're going through like all the films, right? Mission Impossible, the first one's a 7. The second one's like a 4. Third one's a 7. Ghost Protocol's an 8. Fallout or Rogue Nation is like a 9. Fallout to me is like an 11. And Dead Reckoning's a 7, right? I think the thing about this series that I think is like not as chronic achievement, but something that you only get one that's below like a 7. And for me, like a 7 is something that is completely rewatchable, so we can have fun watching. 7 of the 8 movies up there are above a 7. And so I think for me, despite how much fun I had, I think that there's some stuff that's just like, all right, guys, the gym, like honestly, it'd be an 8 if the Jim Phelps stuff went in there. Like that thing pissed me off to no end. I'm not gonna lie to you. There was no need for that. My guy Shea Wiggum, you didn't have to do you like that, my brother. I love you.
Have your own name.
Right? You know what I'm saying? We could have just been Briggs. He could have been Briggs the whole time. But nah, I had a blast. I love this movie. I love this franchise. I'm sad to go. It's a 7 for me.
6.
All right, you hate movies. That's fine.
6.
I do.
Easy 6.
Okay.
Yeah. It is entertaining enough, but only enough.
Nah.
Yeah.
I do wish, to your guys' point, do wish it was a little bit funnier because some of the things about this movie.
Have some fun with himself.
There was that. No. But you guys don't like when he's finding dude in the submarine. He's like, you need
to spend the time off the internet.
That's funny.
That's the stuff I need. If he was like, when he was like shaking on the submarine floor when he was just coming out, I would be like, anybody got a towel or something? Like, I'm just gonna sit here. Like, come on.
It was a good movie, man.
We didn't talk enough about. We talked a little bit about it, but we didn't talk enough about that fight scene. That's a great fight.
It's a great fight scene.
The fight scene is shot perfectly. Tom is rolling,
and they're
all
cutting
that
back
stuff.
and forth between the fight and the Solstice base. With
that was a great fight too, with all the soldiers in the that was fun. It just sucks that the movie didn't show up for an hour and 45.
Yeah. Not 45. It might have been like 70
This movie's near 3 hours.
It might have been like 70 minutes. Might have been like 60.
This is like an hour and 45 minutes of wheel spinning.
We didn't even talk about the
before a
Russian
movie
dude
starts.
Who was like, if you were me, would you believe me? I was like, all right,
pretty good.
He had bars.
So our Mission Impossible rankings now, and so I gotta look at all the movies because this is gonna.
I got mine.
I got mine.
Go for it.
If y'all been locked in on Mission Impossible Mondays, hey, shout out everybody who was locked in, man. It's the culmination. We'll start at 8, obviously, or the last one, Mission Impossible 2. That's probably the worst, definitely the worst. Y'all might be mad at me, but I think this is fair. I like the movie, but we're in a different era now. Mission Impossible 1, that's 7. 6,
Jesus.
I'll probably go. I mean, you can really flip them. I'll probably say Dead Reckoning at 6, Final Reckoning at 5. 4, y'all gonna be mad. Mission Impossible 3. I like it.
Yeah.
I like Mission Impossible 3. 3 is Ghost Protocol. 2 is Rogue Nation, and 1 is Fallout. And I fundamentally believe the first 2 have to be Rogue Nation and Fallout, and the last one's got to be Mission Impossible 2. Everything after that, you can kind of mix and match, I feel. But those, like Fallout is one of the best action movies we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
So 8 is Mission Impossible 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We agree on that. Even though movie gets a little bit better on the rewatch for me.
Mission Impossible 2 is great. I love Mission Impossible 2.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good time.
Mission Impossible 2. 7 to me is Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Hell yeah.
That's fair.
6 to me is Dead Reckoning Part 2.
Final Reckoning. Yeah.
Final Reckoning, should I say.
Okay.
5 is Mission Impossible 3. 4 is Ghost Protocol. 3 is the original Mission Impossible. 2 is Rogue Nation. 1 is Fallout.
Okay. I would switch that up. It's almost the same from the top. Sorry, I'm going the top down. That's just it makes sense in my brain. The top is Fallout. Second is Ghost Protocol.
That's wrong.
Third, Rogue Nation. Fourth is 3.
Okay.
Fifth is 1. And then it's Final Reckoning, Dead Reckoning 2.
Okay.
I'm not ranking any of these. My last statement will be Fast and Furious
participate.
franchise.
Fast
Furious franchise is so much better than Mission Impossible. It's not even funny.
That's insane.
Not only is that one of the worst takes I've ever heard
It is a
come
true
out of
take.
your mouth, it's fundamentally one of the worst things I've ever heard anybody ever say in the history of the
Fast
world.
and Furious is a way better franchise.
That's none of that is true.
On record.
Name one movie
Fast
that's
5
better
clears
than Mission.
every single Mission Impossible.
You
That's
don't
insane.
believe that.
No, that's
do.
not
You
true.
don't believe
I
that.
do believe that.
You don't
I would
believe
take
that.
Too Fast, Too Furious over most of these movies.
Hey,
Too Fast, Too... Okay, first of all, it's a great movie.
Turn his
Great
mic
movie.
off. Mute him. I know a rest in peace around the horn. Do not let him talk the rest of the podcast. You're done. You're done. That's crazy.
Hey, look at the box office.
What are you talking about?
Look at the box office.
For Too Fast, Too Furious?
No, for all of them. I stand for what I've realized is the Midnight Boys and our viral success no longer speak to the common man.
Brother, you're clip
And
farming
I'm
right
speaking
now.
to the common man.
That's not, you're
Real-
clip farming right now. You just making it up.
Tim Pool says that it's prop clipping.
That's what he's called it?
He told Sam Cedar one time,
Why would you listen to the... All right.
oh, if Sam Cedar's on something, I'm going to watch it.
I don't know.
So-
Sam Cedar's cool.
So Sam Cedar was on Tim Pool one time. And Sam Cedar was continuously talking, and Tim Pool was like, "You're prop clipping. Charles, you're prop clipping. He's prop clipping. Jomi, why are you so upset with Charles prop clipping?"
Imagine if I was like, "Hey man, you know what? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is better than The Wire, or it's
You
better
damn
than,
near do that almost
I
every
say-
other episode.
It's not...
I like it. That's not to say it was the best TV show ever made, right?
I don't know when y'all got so disrespectful for Fast and Furious, but those movies fed families. All right, you know what I'm
It's
saying?
literally
It
about
put
family.
Actual people of color on screen. We weren't killing them off like fucking Tom Cruise. Like, come on.
But he replaced it though. We went something we don't talk about in this movie. We went black for black. Luther's gone. They replaced him with another black. They did.
Tom Cruise traded.
Tom
Wow.
Cruise. And by the way, in
swap.
my theater, when old boy, when cheekbones, when jawline, when he showed up at the end and he wasn't dead, there was a brother in the back that went, "Yeah."
Dude, there was this kid in the movie. That was the second time I watched. When the nukes came out, he was screaming. He's like, "No, don't blow him up." And then when Degas showed up, he's literally was like, "Hell yeah, black guy." I was like, "Hey, man."
He said, "Hell yeah, black guy."
guy. He didn't know his name. They didn't say his name.
I will say, shout out Tom Cruise though, because he did let Ving Rhames cook for years. Like he was
did, he
once
did.
Ving Rhames is just like they always trying to kill the black man. Tom Cruise literally like he's like you always gonna be in.
Was
these
Ving Rhames in every movie?
Ving Rhames and Tom Cruise, the only people. Who were in
Almost
every
everyone.
Yeah.
No. Ving
Everyone?
Rhames was in all of them because
Was he in 3?
Yes,
He was in 3. Oh yeah, he was in 3. He was.
But
He
he's
pops
not-
up at the end.
He pops up at the end. No, that's 4.
That's 4 where
He pops up at the end of 4.
Yeah,
he's
I
having
remember
a
that.
beer in San Francisco, but he's in every single. It's him and Tom Cruise, the only people in every single Mission Possible.
They shouldn't have killed off Ving Rhames.
I think Ving done with it, bro.
So then that's my last question. Do you think this is the actual last one?
Hell no.
No.
With all the money this shit made?
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Let's look at the
This
box
isn't it.
office right now.
They come in like 3-4 years, we get a new one.
Okay, so this wild. I will look right now.
He's got to go to space.
On my AMC app.
He's going to
right?
space in a different movie.
So
I know,
I'm looking
so-
at my AMC app. Let's try to buy tickets right now for Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning.
Shout out to Mission Impossible and Stitch, really. Lilo and Stitch, man. They made some bread this weekend, man.
The
Man, Stitch was killing it.
we back.
Dude, we're back, dog.
Mhm.
Not to step on Sean Fenix's toes, but movies are back, fellas. Huh? That don't
Final
mean nothing?
Destination Bloodlines was cooking up.
Come on, man.
Oh yeah.
And we're not even, and this is May. We're not even getting to July.
So let's say we want to see an IMAX of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning right now at AMC Century City. It is a random Wednesday at 2:30.
Oh, nah.
Wow.
Oh, nah.
Book solid.
Book
Solid.
solid.
Solid,
You
man.
got 1, 2,
TC,
3. You got
Tom Cruise,
like
he
a
doing a thing.
That is Tom
couple
Cruise.
of, couple of different ones. So the
I
movie
think
going
that, Tom
crazy.
Cruise.
The movie going crazy.
Don't Bobby with the two.
And look,
They think
and
they're
I'll
not
be
Tom
honest
Cruise?
with you. Before last thing I'll say is there's a part of the reception to this movie, both critically and commercially, that is saying thank you to Tom Cruise.
Sure.
There's a part of this movie that recognizes that Tom Cruise and the filmmakers behind this movie and other movies during this really precarious time in the last 4 or 5 years, if they didn't save the industry, they thought that they were. And because of that, they're giving us gigantic film-going experiences that you cannot get at your house.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is there a part of the response to this film that is a little bit glazing Tom Cruise, as Charles says? Yeah, sure. But I do think that the movie justifies his existence, and I do think the health of the movie is very important for the present and near future of the industry.
If I'm
Very
being
true.
my least troll self, there is something magical about looking in Tom Cruise's face when he's on that biplane and how dedicated he is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not just to the stunt, but to being like, I do think Tom Cruise actually is like, if you buy a ticket to my movie, I want you to feel taken care of. I want you to feel entertained. I want it to, like, I want you to feel something. And that
Yeah.
is like, even if I did not like this movie, I will always sign up for someone who does, who can, like, there's
Who
not
cares?
You can't say that he doesn't give a shit
He
about the
cares,
things that he
bro.
does.
Lilo and Stitch made $36 million on Monday.
That's
Dude,
crazy.
It's so funny, man. Snow
People
White came
love-
out. Snow White came out. Nobody watched Snow White. They were like, "Hey, no more live action remakes." Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch, though.
Hold my beer.
Lilo
back in.
Lilo and Stitch already put down 361 million worldwide.
That shit made more than Thunderbolts made his entire
Hey, man. Hey, man.
Like, come
Oh!
on, bro.
Hey, no matter what, Disney's winning. So
Yeah, that's true.
All right, that's enough out of us. That's a wrap this week on the Ringiverse feed. But MASH is back tomorrow with their pod on The Last of Us finale. Also tomorrow, House of R will be giving you their spring mailbag. And later this week, we will be giving you our Ringiverse recommends for the month of May. As far as that's concerned. Our producers in the Salt Factory are Steve Ahlman, Aleya, Zenieris, and Jomi, Adeniran on social. Hashtag Cruise Krispy Kreme Glaze Master for
It's a lot of
Joni.
words. It's a lot of words.
Steve getting you back. An additional production from Arjuna, Ramgopal. Chuck, take us out.
Shout out Tom Cruise. Put some respect on Fast and the Furious, a Mission Impossible porn parody. I'm a little curious.
Look, before we go, I mean, I gotta say one thing. And I've never done this before.
Okay.
Or ever had this thought in a movie.
Hmm.
I personally think that Mission Impossible is going to make for the best porn parody of all time.
Okay. So no. Hold on. How do we get there? How do we get there? Like, lead me down your train of thought.
I've thought about what an Axel Braun could do with this movie. This movie is like, it's begging. There's so many scenes that I saw in the film.
Okay.
It's begging to be done. It's a spoof in and of itself.
Okay.
And if you replace some of these stunts with sexual stunts, I think you could make a
sexual stunts.
Sexual stunts. I think you could make a porn parody that actually goes mainstream to where people would be like, "I gotta see this."
So let's take some of the iconic stunts from the Mission Impossible series.
Like I'm telling you, like I'm watching all of this stuff, and I'm like, "What if we change this?"
Right.
Like what?
So there's an orgy in the submarine.
Yeah.
Like on top of the Burj Khalifa.
All of this type of stuff. If you really, because if you just did this movie with the best people in porn, right, and you made it a semi-serious thing, but the stunts are sexual stunts.
So they're like falling. Everybody jumps out of a plane like a halo jump, but instead of just falling, they have sex.
They're having sex.
Okay.
They're having sex underwater. Like all of these different things that are happening in the
decompression chambers.
Wait, when there's like one porn star is just like being like slowly lowered down.
Yeah.
into a vagina.
Yeah. I could write this.
I'm sure you could. I'm
serious. Like I would, this is the only one that I would write.
Right.
I would write
this. Write a porn.
This is the only one I would write. Because I don't want to be a part. I'm an admirer of it. This is the only one I would write. But
honestly,
if they find it, right? Maybe James Dean as Ethan Hunt.
Okay.
Or one of these guys. If they do it, this could actually be one where it's a semi-mainstream porn parody.
Is Johnny Sins like Luther, like, because he's also bald?
Well, Johnny, you got to get a black guy to be Luther. Why would you
You could just race swap him.
No, you don't race swap.
Well, I don't know many porn stars. I don't know.
Oh man, no, Luther has got to be
okay.
Like,
so you're also the casting director,
we
clearly.
Every single
this is crazy
episode with porn corner.
That's twice now.
Yeah, that's twice. That's twice back to back.
It's twice.
You might be cooked, man.
I apologize, guys. But I thought this when I was in the movie. And it's probably because of the whole conversation we had the last time. And people have been hitting me up. And like every time we have a conversation about porn on the Midnight Boys, the audience gets like super pissed off. Like, oh my God, man. So he's like I'm your weird uncle. I'm sorry. But then also the people hit me up and they go, Van, would you like to visit the set? Or would you like to come on to the and I'm like, no, I don't want to go that
Boys should
far.
go visit a set.
No. We can't. I don't want to see how the sausage is made.
You don't.
I don't want to
Why?
see
You
how
don't
the
want to
sausage.
see?
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
Why?
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see
No,
it.
I love the stories when like somebody does go and they're just like evil.
Evil.
I'm never watching it again.
Maybe that's what you need, Van.
Maybe
that's the final step. That's the final reckoning.
But I'm just saying, I think this one could work, and they should look into it.